A very good morning, students. I hope you are doing good with your health and studies. Today, it's been the fifth class, barring out the first class being the introduction session. It's been the lecture 4. So I hope you people are following signals and system class without any problems. And also, I hope you might have referred the YouTube lecture that has been uploaded by me recently. I could see a lot of views. I hope you are also one among them. Today is a different kind of class because we are taking the class live now. And of course, I have kept it for recording. So whatever we do in this live class will be recorded and also it will be put on my YouTube channel and you can refer it for later stage. Fine. And I could see some students asking doubts in YouTube channel of YouTube videos. I'm happy about it, and it's difficult to explain you or answer you in written to your reply. So that's why what I thought is let me explain it in this session. Okay, so there was one doubt which I found to be very important for understanding. That is, one of the student, I don't remember actually the name, she asked doubt regarding how to discretize the continuous time signal. So it is the sampling process in turn again. So I touch upon it once again for 2 to 3 minutes and then we will proceed with the further things. So today we are proceeding with lecture 4. The topics that I have planned to cover in this session are examples on periodic and non-periodic signals. And if I complete this successfully in this session, then I'll be taking up deterministic and random signals. That's another classification. Okay, so before I proceed with lecture 4, let me summarize what we studied in previous class and let me take the doubt solving also in this class. So in till now we could understand what is signal. So now we are clear with what is signal and we also understood classifications. So classifications are also done. So in that we had 5 classification. First classification we could understand that it is CT and DT. What is the meaning of CT and DT? It is discrete time signal and continuous time signal. Continuous time signal and discrete time signal. That's the first classification. So what is the second classification that we studied? It's even and odd signal. This is our second classification. Third classification that we are studying now. So it's in the process. That is periodic and non-periodic or aperiodic signal. This is our third classification. So the fourth and fifth classification will be covering up in the later session. So we had a doubt from a student that how to discretize the continuous signal. The meaning is, see, whatever you're speaking, that's a continuous signal. For example, audio signal is a continuous signal. Your audio signal, if I want to draw, it will have this shape. So this is somewhat your audio signal, real-time audio signal. So to process it in a processor, in a hardware, it's quite difficult. It's very, very difficult. So what we do is we have to discretize it. We have to take some samples out of it. We cannot process whole of the signal because if you try to put its value, if you try to read its value, for example, this is a time axis. At time 0, I am having some signal. At time 1 second, I am having some signal. 2 seconds, I am having signal. 3 seconds, I am having signal. Now, if I ask between 0 and 1 second, do you have some sample? If I zoom it between 0 and 1 second, 0 second and 1 second, so this will take in this fashion. So again, I am having lot of samples here. I have a sample at 0.5 seconds. I have a sample at 0.25 seconds. Again, if I zoom this portion, again I will be having lot many samples. So there is no end. For tiny and tiny time units also you will be having information in the continuous time signal, and which is very hard to process in a hardware. Very hard. So that's why your processor needs some specific amount of information to process. So that's why to make it specific, to reduce the number of samples, so what we do is, or else I can say, to extract samples, to extract samples out of the continuous time signal. To extract samples, we use a process called sampling process. What is the meaning of sampling? Sampling is nothing but extracting samples out of the real-time continuous time signal. So when you extract a sampling, for example, I want to take the sample at every t is equal to 1 second. At every t is equal to 1 second, if I try to extract the samples, then how would this same continuous time looks? It will look like this. It's the same audio signal. Now I'm taking samples. N, I'll write it now because it is samples now. So at 1 second I'll fetch, at 2 seconds I'll fetch, at 3 seconds I'll fetch, at 4 seconds I'll fetch. So I go on fetching the time information at every time in period 1 second. So at 1 second, what is the signal? So this is a signal. So I plot it. At 0 it is here. At 2 seconds, slightly above. At 3 seconds, it's quite below. At 4 seconds, let me take this as 4 second. It is somewhere here, somewhere here. So if you draw the information, it would look like this. So this is looking like discrete time signal. In real time, there is no discrete time signal. So real time signal means whatever it is available in the real environment. It might be audio signal, it might be electromagnetic signal. Any real time signal is nothing but, all real time signal will be continuous time signals. Remember it. Then why discrete time signal is needed? It is to process on hardware, for example your cell phone or your TV or wherever communication is establishing. For all those things to process on hardware, I need discrete time signal. So that's why we need discrete time signal. As an engineer, electronics engineer, I need to convert any real time signal into discrete time signal for further processing through the hardware. I hope I am clear to you students regarding sampling process as well as continuous time signal and discrete time signal. Why discrete time signal is very necessary and why sampling process is so important in electronics engineering. So I'm starting with a periodic and non-periodic signal, continuation of what we had done in previous class. So previous class we studied about some periodic and non-periodic signal examples, and in this class again we will take it forward from where we had left. So we have a question here. So the question goes like this. We could solve some examples on periodic and non-periodic in lecture 3. In lecture 4 we are continuing with it. The first example that we are solving in this lecture is, show that a continuous time complex exponential signal, continuous time complex exponential signal. Students, try to understand. Continuous time means I am having t as a time period across x-axis. If I had a n, then it would have been called as discrete time signal. Here t is there, so I am calling it as continuous time signal. And what about complex exponential signal means? See here, this e is exponential, e for exponential. Complex means I have a j term here. J or I term if you have, then we call it as complex signal. Alright, so complex signal, exponential is there and it is a continuous time. So hence I call it as continuous time complex exponential signal x of t, which is equal to e raised to plus or minus j omega omega naught, it is omega naught t. So I am just following the textbook, because when you read the textbook there should not be difference between textbook and what I'm teaching here. That's why I'm trying to match my lectures with the textbook Simon Hicken. Okay, so 2 pi by omega naught is the fundamental period t, and it's the signal is x of t e raised to plus or j minus j omega naught t. Now what you need to do is you need to show that it is periodic and its fundamental period is this. So you need to prove it. So to prove it, my solution goes like this. So in the same fashion, so I go in detail. A CT signal is periodic if, what is the condition? The condition is x of t is equal to x of t plus capital T. So this is a condition. I hope you are thorough with the condition. Now what is x of t here? X of t is given here. X of t is e raised to plus or minus j omega naught t. This should be equated to what? This should be equated to this. So what I'm doing here, replace wherever you have t with t plus capital T. I'm doing the same thing. E raised to plus or minus j omega naught t plus capital T. So what happens? What happens here? So this I am separating. See just here e raised to plus or minus j omega naught t dot or into e raised to plus or minus j omega naught capital T. Right? So this I call it as equation number 1. Fine. We were doing like this in the previous class also. Now what I do is to make it periodic, to make it periodic, to make it period, to make the given signal periodic, equation 1 I have to modify such that e raised to, in the equation 1, this term, the second term, that is e raised to plus or minus j omega naught capital T, should be equated to what? Should be equated to 1. So how to do it? So to equate it to 1, you know that as per the Euler's formula, e raised to plus or minus j 2n pi is equal to 1. Do you know why it is equal to 1, or shall I tell you? Because it's a basic mathematics. If you want, I just explain that also. I'll change the color because it's not the related to problem. That's why. So let me tell you. So there is Euler's formula states that e raised to j theta is equal to plus or minus, I write, cos of theta plus or minus j sine of theta. Okay, so in place of theta, if I'm having 2 pi or 4 pi or 6 pi or 2n pi, 2n pi means n can be 0, 1, 2, anything. N can be starting from 1, I can say. So n equal to 1 means 2 pi, n equal to 2 means 2 2s are 4, 4 pi is there, n equal to 3 means 3 into 2, 6 pi. So 2n pi means it's as good as writing 2 pi into multiples of 2 pi. Okay, so then what I do is e raised to plus or minus j, in place of theta what I'm putting, 2n pi I'm putting, or just for your simplicity I start with 2 pi. So 2 pi, what happens? Cos of 2 pi plus or minus sine of 2 pi. So j I missed. Here j should be there. Okay. So what is cos of 2 pi? Cos of 2 pi is equal to cos 0. Cos 0 is 1 plus or minus. What is sine of 2 pi? Sine of 2 pi is 0. So what do you get? You get it as 1. Right? So you place 4 pi in place of 2 pi, then also you'll get the same answer. You place 6 pi, then also you'll get the same answer. So that's why in general we call it as 2n pi, 2n pi, 2n pi. For any cos of 2n pi you will be having 1. For any sine 2n pi you will be having value 0. Right? 0 into j is 0. So only one term left. That is why it is 1. Okay. So I hope students you got clear about what I wrote here. Fine. So that's why now my next again I go back to the same pen. So here I need to equate this to 1, or else I need to equate this 1. Both mean same. Equating equal to 1 is nothing but equating it to e raised to plus or minus j 2n pi. So here e is same, plus or minus is same, j is same, omega naught t. In place of omega naught t, what I'm having here, 2n pi I'm having. So equating, what do I get? I get it as omega naught capital T is equal to 2n pi. I hope it is clear. So now therefore what is t? T is equal to 2 pi by omega naught n. So this n. Okay. Fundamental period means fundamental period is You need to consider smallest possible n value, so what is the smallest possible n value other than 0? Okay, non-zero smallest possible. So n is equal to 1. For n is equal to 1, what is your t? T is equal to 2 pi by omega naught. So this is your fundamental period, and we could prove this to be right. So till now we were considering single expression. Like x of t. That's it. But now, what if I am having multiple signals, sum of multiple signals? In that case, we need to apply these steps. The steps I have carefully designed, and of course, these are given in book, but still, it's not as easy as it has been put in front of you now. Okay, so listen it carefully, students. Listen it carefully. The sum of m periodic CT signal x1 of t, x2 of t, xn of t is not necessarily periodic. For example, the meaning of the first statement is, think that if x1 of t is periodic, x2 of t is also periodic, x3 of t, xn means, let me consider only three signal, n is like you can have any number, this is also periodic. So all these three things are periodic signal. Now what I do is, all these three things I'll combine with a summation. Then I ask you a question, x1 of t plus x2 of t plus x3 of t, will it give me a periodic signal? Is it a periodic signal? It is not necessary. It is not necessary to be periodic. That is what you need to remember here. Necessarily, it is not compulsion that if all the periodic signal are there and if I add it, then the resulting signal should also be periodic. It is not guaranteed. Then what we should do? There should be some ways to check the periodicity of it. That's why we have designed this following steps. So here is the list. It is periodic only if T1 divided by Ti is a ratio of integers. Ratio of integers means it should be a rational number. P by Q. Rational number is a P by Q form where Q is not equal to 0, right? And it should result in always a ratio should be always an integer. Where I is in the range 2 and m. So we will understand what is this T1. T1 is a fundamental period of first signal x1 of t. x1 of t's period is T1. x2 of t period is T2. x3 of t period is T3. xn of t's period is Ti. So xn or xi, whatever we have used xi here. Xi means some number, some specific particular signal. That is I. We have denoted it as I. Now you understand. T1 by Ti should be ratio of integer. Then only it becomes periodic. We will take one example, then it will be clear. Convert each ratio T1 by Ti. For example, if you have three signals added, T1 by T2 should be the first ratio that you need to check. Then T1 by T3 should be the second signal that you need to check. If there is fourth one, T1 by T4, like that. That's the meaning of T1 by Ti. And make sure all these are rational. All these are rational. Then only it is periodic. That's it. At this stage itself, you make the decision. If all the ratios of their period T1 by Ti is rational, then it is periodic. Now think that we have decided that it is a periodic. Now what is its fundamental period? Combination signals per fundamental period we need to find. To find it, I am just making it red color because I don't want you people to concentrate here. Directly come to this step because it is easier. So what you need to do is, you need to take LCM. It is L, okay? LCM L of factorized denominators of resulting ratio. For example, this is a denominator, this is a denominator. All these denominators, LCM you need to take. So whatever LCM you get, that we denote it as L. Now, to find the period of the sum signal, T is equal to T1. T1 you would have find out first itself. T1 is a fundamental period of a signal into LCM. So this gives you the period of the fundamental period of the resultant sum signal. Shall we take one example for this? The first signal, very first signal is, if you practice parallelly with me, it is very good, because it will definitely help you to understand. Determine whether following signal is periodic. Okay, so first signal I'm taking is y of t. This is a given signal. Question it is y1 of t plus y2 of t plus y3 of t is periodic or not. You need to check with the periods they have given. So let me write the periods respectively. For y1 of t, period given is y1 of t, I call it as period t1. T1 is given as 1.08 seconds. They have given the period. Okay, so this is comparatively easier example. We'll take the next one, next difficult one. T2 is given by, they have already mentioned the period 3.6 seconds, and y3's period they have mentioned as 2.025 seconds. So this is the periods given for y1 of t, y2 of t, y3 of t. What is the meaning? y1 of t is periodic and its fundamental period is 1.08 second. Means y1 of t is a signal which repeats after every 1.008 seconds. That's the meaning of the periodic signal. Similarly, y2 of t is a periodic signal with fundamental period t2 is equal to 3.6 seconds. What's the meaning? y2 is a signal which repeats after every 3.6 seconds. That's the meaning. I hope you got some clear idea about what is periodic and non-periodic. Okay. Now, so these are the given things. Now we'll start the solution. We start the solution. So for solving, I use a different ink. So here, first thing, very first step, what I have to do? I have to check the ratio T1 divided by T2. T1 by Ti. So Ti can be any of the ith signal. So what is T1? It is 1.08. What is T2? 3.6. So this is to make ourselves 0. I multiply denominator and numerator by 100. So what do I get? 108 divided by 360. So if I divide it, 108 36 threes are and 36 tens are. You can do it by yourself. So what is it? It is a ratio of integer. It is an integer, right? Ratio of integer it is. So if it is a ratio of integer, then it is a rational. Then it is a rational. Okay. So now only I cannot decide whether it is periodic or non-periodic, because there is one more third signal. We need to take its account also. So T1 divided by T3 now. So what is T1? 1.08. What is T3? 2.025. So what I have to do? So I have after decimal dot I have 3 digits. So I multiply by 1000 on both sides, on above and below. 1080 divided by 2025. So this will result in I have just worked out before I started class. That's why I can write directly. So you can go with doing it. So this also results in rational. 8 is an integer, 15 is also integer. Both are rational. So when both are rational, then what is the conclusion? So I write it here. Each ratio is a rational number. Each ratio is a rational number. Therefore, y of t is, you came to the conclusion that y of t is a periodic signal. So your half part of the problem is done. Okay. So it is a periodic signal. Now, so what is the next one? You need to find, this is step 1, to find whether it is period or not. It is periodic or not. Step 1 it is. Now we'll proceed with step 2. So step 2 is all about to find t, that is period. To find period. To find period, what I have to do? So I have to check T1 by T2, this one and this one. So take it, T1 by T2 is given by 3 by 10. T1 by T3 is given by 8 by 15. So I have only 2. So take its denominator. Take its denominator. Let me check. Let me show you. So LCM of factorized denominator of the resulting ratio. So take the LCM of the denominators. 10, 15. Take its LCM. So LCM will give us 5 2s are 5 3s are 2 1s are 3 1. So what is the LCM? 5 into 3 or 2 into 3 or 3 into 2 will result in 30. So LCM L is 30. So that's a last but one step. What is the last step? Then the period of some signal is given by T1 into L. Therefore, period of y of t, that is the resultant signal, right? Y of t is given by what? T1 into L. So what is T1? T1 is 3 by 10. T1 is 3 by 10 or else 1.08, which has been given here. T1 is 1.08, 3 by 10, whatever it is, into 30. 30 is LCM. So this will result in 32 point. I have a calculator in front of you, in front of me. You can check also from your end. 32.4 seconds is a period of the resultant signal y of t. So in the steps, you please concentrate here. It is, or here also it says only T1 by Ti. T1 by Ti. This Ti, this I varies from 2, 3, 4. It does not take 1. See, it is starting from 2. 2, 3, 4, 5. How many signals you have? That many. Here I am having only 3 signals, y1, y2 and y3. So once I took 2, that's why it became T1 by T2. Next time I took 3, T1 by T3, like that. It goes. Okay. Why do we consider only T1 to find T? So it's a step. It's a mathematics. Okay. It's a mathematics to find the period of that signal. So that's a step. That's why I've shown it as a step. Fine. You can also interchange, like here you can treat this y2 as y1 and y1 as y2 and then proceed. Why T1? Because T1 is kept in the numerator. That's why we are multiplying it here. If you keep T2 in the numerator, then you could have taken in that fashion. Okay. I don't want to confuse you other students. So just follow this step. So the next problem I'm taking, the next problem being, you need to check whether it's periodic or not periodic. I'm taking a simple example now. X of t is given by a cos of omega naught t plus phi. So you need to check what is its period. Also, the third example is x of t equal to, or else I call it as y of t. Y of t is equal to a. We are not applying that steps we discussed because it is just slightly deviation. Let me complete it as I have already wrote. So this is a signal given. You need to find out its period. So what you have to do is, for periodic, the condition is, this is a condition, x of t is equal to x of t plus t. So this is x of t. Now x of t plus t is given by a cos of omega naught. In place of t, I write it as t plus capital T plus phi. So this will give you a cos of omega naught t plus omega naught capital T. I'm intentionally writing here plus phi. I just shift it here just to have a simplicity. Now you can check this part of the signal is same as x of t. Only this I need to take care. So in order to make it periodic, you know that trigonometric functions are always periodic with a period 2 pi, right? So that's why I have to equate this omega naught t with 2 pi. So therefore x of t is periodic with period. So if I take t on the left hand side, omega naught on the right hand side, I would get it as t is equal to 2 pi by omega naught. So this is like 1 mark question for you. So we will ask the period of this one, or sometimes 2 mark. Okay. So it's a periodic with period 2 pi by omega naught. Even it results in same answer for e raised to plus or minus j omega naught t. Okay, here also the answer is same. Now what happens here? So take it as an assignment. Here also you will get t is equal to 2 pi by omega naught. So take it as an assignment. Yes, let me take the next example. So next example being, now I am considering combination of two signals now. Please concentrate, students. Again, you need to use the steps. So you need to check whether the given signal is periodic or non-periodic. If periodic, then you should find its period. So I am writing the signal x of t is equal to cos of phi u pi t plus sine of 6 pi t. This is t. I am having two signals now. First signal is cos, second signal is sine. So now we need to check the periodicity of this. So what I have to do? So I have to use the condition. X of t should be equated with x of t plus capital T. This is a condition, right? This is a condition. Now, to check its whether it is periodic or not, then you need to find out what is its period. Fine. So here's the solution. So first is I substitute t with t plus t. So what do we get? X of t plus capital T is equal to cos of. So I skip one step now. Please adjust to my way of speed. Phi t plus phi pi capital T. Is it okay? In place of t, I have placed t plus t. So if I remove the bracket, phi pi t is my first component, phi pi capital T is my second component. Hope that it is clear. Plus here also, if I place t with t plus t, I would get sine of 6 pi t plus 6 pi capital T. Okay, so I have two signals now. So what I have to do? So here for this signal, we proceed differently or separately. For this signal to be periodic, what is the condition? Come up in the chat box, students. I am asking for cos signal to be periodic. What I have to do? So let me write it as T1, this as T2, because these two are two different signals. So I am writing this signal will be periodic if T2 is a period. This signal will be periodic if T1 is a signal. Now you come up in the chat box and tell me what I have to equate it with if I want this cos signal to be periodic. Yes, perfect. Most of you are online on right path. So you need to compare it with 2 pi. Okay, you need to compare it 2 pi. 2n pi is also right. And also I have already explained, like, smallest possible non-zero n you need to select. So the smallest possible non-zero n is equal to 1. That's why if you say just 2 pi, that is also correct. Okay. So phi pi t1 should be equated with 2 pi. Here 6 pi t2 should be equated with 2 pi. So please observe here, I am referring it as T1, I am referring it as T2 because T1 might be different from T2. It is not same. So that's why you denote it with separately. Okay, because these two are different signal. Later on we'll combine it. And this T is period of the resultant x of t signal. Okay, and this T1 is related to only cos. This T2 is related to only sine. Fine. So now T1 is pi and pi cancels. T1 is 2 by 5. What is T2? Pi and pi cancels. 2 by 6 or else 1 by 3. Hope it is clear. Now I am having T1 and T2. I am having only two signals. Now we start applying the step. Step 1 to decide whether it is periodic or non-periodic. So for checking that, T1 by Ti I has only, it is two signals, so I can take only two. So T1 by T2 will give you 2 by 5 whole divided by 1 by 3, or else I just invert it and write it in this fashion. Hope there is no doubt. This is equal to 6 by 5. So it is a rational number because ratio of integers. It is a ratio of integers. So when it results in rational number, then come to the conclusion that hence x of t is what? Periodic. First part of the problem is over. What is the second part? For second part, you need to go with step 2 to find the value of t. T is equal to question mark. So how to do it? So for that, write down T1 by T2. T1 by T2 is 6 by 5. You don't have T1 by T3 or T1 by T4 like that. You have only one denominator. What is its LCM? LCM is, you have only one number. LCM is, it is itself. It is 5. LCM is 5. Malikarjun, you are telling it as 6. Please recheck. Am I right? So LCM is denominator. It's from denominator. It is 5 itself. Okay. So LCM is 5. So the last step is period T is equal to L into T1 or T1 into L. What is L? L is 5 into what is T1? T1 is given by 2 by 5. 2 by 5. So what is the answer? Answer is 2 seconds. 2 seconds is your answer. Yes. So next example is, you can solve faster than me at your end and cross check whether your solved answer is correct or not. 2 sine of 2t plus 3 cos of slightly different example. So two signals I am having. So I am concerning the condition is x of t should be equated with x of t plus capital T. So replace t with capital T. So replace t with capital T will result in 2t plus 2 capital T plus 3 cos of 3 not 3 pi t plus pi capital T. So we'll proceed separately for these two signals. I will equate this to 2 pi. So 2 pi is equal to 2t. Here pi t is equal to 2 pi is equal to pi t or whatever, LHS or LHS. Okay. So 2 cancels. T is equal to pi. So let me call it as T1, T2. Whenever you have two different signals, call it as T1 and T2. So what is T2? T2 is 2. Okay. So now step 1. Step 1 to prove that whether it is periodic or non-periodic. T1 by Ti. T1 by Ti. Ti is T2. Only two signals are there. So what is T1? Pi. What is T2? 2. Okay. So pi by 2, is it a rational? It's irrational number. Pi is a irrational number. So when it is irrational number, then what is the conclusion? Conclusion is x of t is a aperiodic signal. Aperiodic means non-periodic signal. Aperiodic signal. Now what is its period? What is the period of non-periodic signal? Is no period. You will not be having any period because it does not repeat at all. Aperiodic signal means it looks like this. Is it anywhere repeating? It is never repeating. It is never repeating means it is like saying after so many of time it is repeating. It is not happening at all. So it cannot have a period. So no period is the right answer. Okay, fine. So now I have one more example. Let me just take a new slide. So here x of t is equal to e raised to minus j 10t plus e raised to j 15t. So proceed separately, put the condition. What is the condition? This is a condition. Now I write x of t plus t as e raised to minus j 10 t dot e raised to minus j 10 capital T plus e raised to j 15t dot means into e raised to j 15 capital T. I have two signals, right? I write it as T1, I write it as T2. Okay, now solve separately. So this quantity and this quantity should go to 1. Should go to 1 means I have to equate it with what? There is j. E raised to j, here minus is there, minus j 2 pi. You need to equate it this value. Here, because this is 1. Here plus is there, plus or minus, irrespective of it, it will result in It will result in 1 itself. So I need to equate it with these values, either 1 or e raised to j 2 pi. So by equating, I get it as, so I get it as 10 t1 is equal to 2 pi. So t1 is equal to what? 2 pi by 10 or else pi by 5. Pi by 5. This is t1. What is t2? T2 you equate it with, it is plus j 15. T2 should be equated with e raised to plus j 2 pi. So 15 T2 should be equated with 2 pi. So T2 is equal to 2 pi by 15. This is T1, T2. Now, step 1. Step 1. T1 by T2. So what is T1? Pi by 5. What is T2? Divide by 2 pi by 5, or else I take it in the numerator like 15 by 2 pi. So what do you get? Pi and pi cancels. 5 ones are, 5 threes are. So you'll get it as 3 by 2. 3 by 2 is a rational number. If it is a rational number, then what is the conclusion? Therefore, x of t is periodic. So now step 2. Step 2 is, what is T1 by T2? T1 by T2 is 3 by 2. So you have only one denominator. So LCM L is 2. So last step, period is given by T1 into L. What is T1? T1 is given by pi by 5. Where is T1? Here. T1 is pi by 5 into L is 2. So you get it as 2 pi by 5 seconds. Okay. So this is the answer. So this is all about your continuous time signals. Now I'll take up some example on discrete time periodic signals. So now I'm considering DT signal for checking periodic or non-periodic. Okay. So I'm taking first example, x of n. So you know that x of n is written like this, discrete time signal, sine phi pi n. So you need to check whether it is periodic or non-periodic. Okay. So to check whether it is periodic or non-periodic, so what you are supposed to do, you have to put the condition. So here don't write it as t, it is capital N. Fine. So x of this becomes sine phi pi n plus phi pi capital N. Fine. So what do you get? You have to equate, it's a trigonometric function, it is a periodic with period 2 pi. So you need to equate this phi pi n with 2 pi. Hence n is equal to pi cancels, 2 by 5. Here in discrete time you need to be very careful. Always you need to write it as 2 pi m or n. Why? Because you know that when we were discussing discrete time signal, we call this n as some positive integer. I hope you remember. While studying about CT and DT signal, we called n as some positive integer. But is it an integer? It is not integer. It is a rational number. So that's why we introduce this m. We introduce this m, 2 pi m. So in trigonometric function, 2 pi m is still a periodic. Okay. So I have already explained it. You just have a practice of writing 2 pi m wherever you find n. Okay. So if m is there, I'll write it as m like this. Now I have to extend it to one more step. So for what minimum value of m, because m have values starting from 1, 2, 3, it goes on. It's an integer. So for what value of m do we get n as an integer? For n to be an integer, positive integer, m should be equal to what? M is equal to 5. That's a perfect answer. So for m is equal to 5, n is equal to 2 by 5 into 5. So therefore n is equal to 2. This is the answer. So 2, it is not seconds, it is samples. If it is discrete time, you should call it as samples. Small change. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now let me take one more example here itself. X of n. So square bracket and my small brackets look same. Please adjust with my handwriting. Okay, so normally we prefer a square bracket here for discrete. Sine 2n. So I have to equate it with n plus capital N. So 5 sine 2n plus 2n. 2 small n plus 2 capital N. This is a periodicity property. So this should be equated with what? Sine is a trigonometric function. It will be periodic with 2 pi. But what I have to write in place of 2 pi? Capital 2n should be equated with 2 pi m. That's a change what we have learned in the previous problem. So for what value of m? So let me write it. N is equal to 2 pi by 2 m. So 2 and 2 cancels. It is pi into m. So for what value of m, n becomes integer. Make sure that m is also an integer. M can take values from 1, 2, 3. It is an integer. There is no such value for m which can make n as integer. If you put m equal to 1, it becomes pi. Pi is not an rational number. N is an integer. Integer means 1, 2, 3 plus or minus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like that. Okay. So m cannot have any value to make it as an integer. So n m cannot be an integer. So what is the conclusion? Conclusion is x of n is non-periodic or aperiodic signal. That's a conclusion. I have 2 more problems. I'll just extend for 5 more minutes. 2 more problems I'll complete because it'll complete one complete class. It will be over. That's why. Okay. So in quick succession, I'm taking one more example. X of n is equal to phi cos of 0.2 pi n. So x of n plus n, I have to equate it. I have to substitute n with capital N. So what do I get? Capital N. So 0.2 pi n plus 0.2 pi capital N. So 0.2 pi capital N should be equated with what? Should be equated with 2 pi m. So pi and pi cancels. 0.2 ones are, 0.2 tens are. So n is equal to what do you get? You get it as 2 by 0.2 m. So it results in 10 m. For what value of m, n become integer? Start from minimum value. M can take value from 1, 2, 3 and all. So m is equal to 1, result in n is equal to 10 samples. That's the answer. That is the answer. Okay. So now let me take one more example. All these are simple examples. X of n is equal to phi cos of 6 pi n. So in place of n, I have to substitute n plus capital N. So that becomes 6 pi n plus 6 pi capital N. So 6 pi capital N should be equated with what? 2 pi m. Pi and pi cancels. So n is equal to 2 by 6 means 1 by 3m. Right? So what value of m I should put for making n is equal to integer? M is equal to 3 will result in n is equal to 1 sample. So that is the answer. Hope it is clear. Very simple, right? And x of n is period. Wherever you get n is equal to integer, all these are periodic. This is periodic. This is also periodic. Okay. So now next is x of n is equal to phi sine of 6 pi n divided by 35. So carefully listen here. So in place of n, I put n plus capital N. So what do we get? 6 pi n divided by 35 plus 6 pi capital N, 6 pi capital N divided by 35. So this should be equated, as it is a trigonometric function, this should be equated to 2 pi m. So what do you get? Pi and pi cancels. N is equal to 2 divided by 2 into 35 divided by 6 m. So 2 ones are 2 threes are 35 by 3 m. So for what value of m, n becomes integer? M is equal to, I should not have a denominator, that's it. M is equal to 3. So n gives you 35 samples. This is again a periodic because n is a integer. So this is again a periodic signal. So the last part of today's lecture, that is find angular frequency. Last part, find angular frequency. It will take 1 minute of time. Very easy. If the fundamental frequency is given as 8, how to find angular frequency? This is angular frequency. What is angular frequency formula? 2 pi by n. So what it will result? 2 pi by 8. So it will result in pi by 4 radians per cycle. Radians per cycle. You should write it in this fashion. So now second, n is equal to 32 will result in what? Omega is equal to 2 pi by 32. So it will result in pi by 16 rad per cycle. Now I want you to answer. N is equal to 64. What is omega? And next is n is equal to 128. What is angular frequency omega? Pi by 32. That's a correct answer, Rakesh. Pi by 32 rad per cycle. Next, pi by 64. That's absolutely correct. Rad per cycle. So this is about today's class.